You're with the Breaker-Leggers,
and we're in London at the Young Vic
to see the play Wings.
So stay tuned to find out how many legs,
whether it's break a leg or leg it.
Before you lovely people go any further,
to make sure you've always got your finger on the theatrical pulse
for theatre news, reviews and interviews,
hit subscribe now.
Wings here at the Young Vic. What do we know about this piece?
Well, it's written by Kopit.
Kopit, who also wrote the book to the musical 9.
Yes, and he's nominated for 2 Pulitzers in his life, and for this piece being one of them.
Yeah, one of these.
Yes. Also directed by Natalie Abrahami. She has worked with Juliet Stevenson, who's in this piece that we'll talk about in a minute, before here at the Young Vic in a production of Happy Days, and now she's back here with this. It's the story of Emily, who is a fiercely independent aviator and wing walker who suffers a stroke which destroys her sense of reality. And playing Emily is
Juliet Stevenson, who we kind of love.
Yeah, she's fantastic. We've seen her in some other shows.
We saw her in, most recently was Hamlet.
Yes.
At the Almeida, which transferred to the Harold Pinter.
Yes, it did indeed, and you can check our review for that.
Also,
yes,
Mary Stewart.
Yes, also at the Almeida, and we are seeing that again. It's that good.
It's coming back into the West End.
Yeah, in January. It's going into the
Duke of York.
Duke of York. Yes.
We hope. Tell us if we're wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right.
Yes.
She's pretty awesome. We do absolutely love her. And what is a bit special, she seems quite a nice lady.
She does. She seems a really nice lady.
A lovely lady.
Yes. We've also of note in the cast is Bryan. Now, Bryan, bit of a throwback here, original member of the girl group pop singers Eternal.
Ooh.
She's also got some acting credits to her name.
Is she an actor?
She trained at Italia Conti.
Okay.
She has done a lot of TV work and she's done a lot of panto, so she's got acting credits to her name. So it'd be quite interesting to see her in something a bit different. I loved Eternal. Just a step from heaven. Also, talking about music, Wings also had a musical adaptation a few years after it originally premiered as a play. Someone took it and made it into a musical, but this is just the play.
Just the play, and how long is just the play?
Just the play is only 75 minutes straight through. You might say we'll be flying through this one on wings.
We'll catch you at the end. We've come to the end of Wings at the Young Vic. So how did you find that?
It's a bit of a mixed bag. The text itself is really hard going. It's a big ask of the audience. It's written in speech patterns that are probably quite reminiscent of a person that struggled and has suffered a stroke and has that sort of illness. It doesn't really translate into a kind of a tangible piece of theatre with a narrative that runs throughout that is engaging and engrossing as a text. In terms of production and performance, it's a different story. It's a great piece of theatre to watch, not particularly a great piece of theatre to listen to. What did you think?
Yeah, I did think halfway through that it was more of an experience. You're kind of experiencing through the character's eyes what it would be like to go through a stroke and that frustration and kind of the physical restrictions and not having any control. So seeing it from that point of view, interesting. However, as a production, there isn't, like I say, there's no narrative, there's no kind of development of plot. It is just the character and what that character experiences and different ways of showing that. And that's kind of where it stops. It's all about the production.
Yeah.
It's all about the production.
I can tell the director's thrown everything at it.
Which is what you need to do with this piece, I think.
Yeah, in our opinion, then, they've acknowledged the fact that without a bit of a show of it all, the text itself is a struggle. Interestingly, this was actually originally written for radio. Oh. So you wouldn't have had any visual. And And that would have been quite surprising, I think, to hear. I'm not sure how that would have worked.
Well, no, I can see that. I think part of the problem with this was the actual scenes. The scenes were extremely slow, undynamic, extremely almost too naturalistic, so that it became very stagnant. And
In
not
terms
much
of
happening
text.
in terms of text. So I imagine if it was a radio piece, maybe that would have been pushed through a lot better. So there would have been enormous pauses. We would have just had a bit more momentum. I want to say, is it too soon to talk about Juliet?
No, I think that's fine.
I think she's the main character, and
Well, she is the main character.
She is the main character. Yeah, that's true. I've got to say, hats off to her, because what has been asked for her to do as a performer is like a pretty big ask.
Yes.
It's like she's attached to a harness throughout the whole thing. So there's the core strength that she has to have from start to finish. I'm not sure what you have to have.
The
but there's not
performance
much.
is acrobatic.
Yeah.
It's high wire skills. It's spinning. It's been suspended. It's been dropped. It's been
She
lifted.
must have abs to die for at
Yes.
this moment in time.
For a lady,
She's been pushed around, spun around.
yeah. I mean, she's beautiful and she's fantastically fit, but she's middle aged. There's no getting away that.
Beautiful middle-aged lady.
Yes, but she's definitely got more core strength than I have.
I was going to say, this is quite a feat for any performer. So for her to have pulled this off is pretty good going, and you have nothing but respect for her come the end.
Also the text itself, because it is written in words that are made up, as a person with a stroke would recall a word which wouldn't be accurate potentially. There's a lot of for her to remember in terms of where the text goes is not natural. It doesn't go from a sensical word to another sensical word. It goes from a sensical word to a nonsensical word. It's almost Jabberwocky-esque in that respect, and I think to remember those lines and to deliver them with such verve as Juliet does and consistently does in everything we see her in is a real feat, and probably one that she'll get, and has in previous reviews, a lot of recognition for.
Yeah, it reminded me a bit of we saw here The Truth with Mr. Kinnear, Rory Kinnear, and that was the same, very difficult text, and he drove a lot of that, and that I imagine it is tremendously hard for an actor to do.
Yes.
But it was pulled off very naturally within this piece.
Yeah, nice ensemble work as well. I would say that the ensemble were consistent. Certainly no problems within the cast.
Yeah, very supporting in
Yes.
this piece. Not much to do really.
No, it is all about that character of Emily and Juliet's performance, which is great.
Yeah, and the production, the lighting, I thought was really good. Also, the set was extremely dynamic.
Yeah.
I thought one of the most dynamic uses of a stage
They
I've
do
seen.
that a lot here. The young
Yeah.
Vic, they definitely think outside the box with the creative teams they get on board.
Their minds are open. There is
Yes.
nothing they can't do. Someone comes up with an idea, and instead of it being stopped or like, oh, I don't know,
They make it
push
happen.
the boundaries.
They do.
Yes, people all over.
Yes. So, I bet you're wondering how many legs we are going to give this piece.
Well, for Wings here at the Young Vic in London, we are going to give three legs.
Yeah, that's not no disrespect to the creatives, the director, the crew that are pulling the show together and making it so dynamic and an experience, and certainly no disrespect to the performers, but overall the text is pretty it's a slog.
Yeah, I'd say it's almost quite restrictive. Without a narrative, without a story, I found I was losing my way at times, specifically during the text, kind of the scenes. Outside of that, production was good.
I almost feel you might enjoy it more if you're a big poetry fan. I almost feel it's kind of, you know how poetry doesn't need to make a lot of sense, you know, in the traditional sense of the word. I think that if maybe you come at it from a poetry angle, then maybe you would enjoy it more, but that's not our bag.
I would say, I don't know, I got the text, I just thought it was very, very slow in places, and that's what I thought, that's kind of what brought it down for me.
That's what we thought. What did you think? Have you seen Wings here at the Young Vic? Or maybe you've seen another show here. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, please let us know.
Yeah.
Leave your comments below.
Like, subscribe, we're the Breaker Leggers, and we'll catch you again soon. Bye!